Well, first off, I want to reassure every voter that we are not going to tolerate anyone trying to interfere with our elections. Voters should have full confidence that today's elections will be free, fair, and they should be able to cast their vote safely. We received by email early this morning a number of threats to polling places across about 8 counties. Law enforcement responded immediately at each polling place. They've secured the polling places, and voters can vote safely. At this time, there is no indication that any of those threats were credible, and almost all of them have been reopened. And we direct you to vote.nj.gov if you have questions about your particular polling site.
How many polling sites did these threats actually impact this morning?
It's around 24 polling sites across the state, and I should note there's no clear pattern of where they went to. They were statewide. But again, I want to thank law enforcement for their incredible response, quickly securing these sites. Again, no indication that any of these threats were credible. We've secured all the polling sites, and almost all of them have reopened.
Matt, talk to us about turnout here. What are the expectations for voter turnout across my home state of New Jersey?
Well, over the past 8 years, under Governor Murphy's leadership, the state has dramatically expanded access to voting. So we've seen significant increases in early voting, in person, and vote by mail. And we hope that everyone who wants to do so will cast their vote today. It's an exciting day in the state. This is a fundamental right, people's right to vote. And my job principally is to make sure that people can do so safely, freely, and fairly. And that is exactly what I'm focused on.
And we are joined by New Jersey Attorney General Matt Platkin. Tell us, Matt, your thoughts on President Trump threatening to withhold or reduce federal funding to New York City if the socialist Zohran Mamdani wins in our mayor's race today. That's going to impact, if that were to happen, New Jersey as well, our friends just over the river. How might that impact what's happening in your state?
Well, look, again, I wish New York City is just like New Jersey, a free and fair and safe election today. And I wish everyone well who's participating in that. The president has routinely, and the administration has routinely unlawfully withheld funds against places that he views as perceived political opponents. New Jersey has not been immune to those risks and those threats. We have gone to court dozens of times and been successful dozens of times in restoring billions and billions of dollars of federal funding that had been unlawfully held. Funding for things like, as we're dealing with right now, for 850,000 New Jerseyans who rely on SNAP for their food, for themselves, for their kids, for their seniors. Things like funding for education, funding for kids with special needs, healthcare, funding for housing for our seniors. All of these have been unlawfully cut or threatened to be cut by this administration. So my response is very simple. If this administration violates the law and hurts the people in our state, I've been very clear, we will go to court to protect them.
Matt, I think I speak for most, if not all, New Jersey Transit riders, which I've been a New Jersey Transit commuter for 40 years nearly. What's the state of some of the gateway projects that were moving along so quickly, but now under threat from this federal administration? What's the status there?
Yeah, and I thank Governor Murphy, who has been a champion of the Gateway Project, and deferred to him in his office on the transportation infrastructure in the state. But look, the president made some comments. It is our understanding that the project has not been affected, but we are going to continue to monitor very closely. Just like I was just saying, any unlawful threat to or cut to funding that affects the state of New Jersey is something we take very seriously. And we've been very clear that we're prepared to stand up for our residents should we need to do so.